Just a sec.
So I'm also joining from another ID,
Right,
just as a
sure.
contingency, if anything
Right,
goes up.
right. Can I just, yeah, perfect. Okay. Good afternoon, all. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Series by Arcane Advisory. I'm Nehal Thakur, founder of Arcane Advisory, along with my community partner, Dr. Divya Rajput, president of Association of Women in Business. Welcomes you all, and also Mr. Jatin Kataria for today's fireside chat on how to screw up your startup. Mr. Jatin Kataria is global serial entrepreneur and innovation specialist, active in global startup ecosystem for more than 10 years. Worked with 40 countries, having network in 100 countries plus, has represented India more than 10 times, featured in media for more than 50 times. He is a founder and CEO of Inmesta and founder and consultant of V Group, Volcano of Global Solution, which is a strategic reinvention, scale-up think tank, and consulting. He has received more than 15 awards, like WYS Award to convert UN Development Goal into action and Karamveer Chakra. He is advisor to 15 plus startups with equity. He is a mentor and advisor with incubators like Founder Institute Sri Lanka, Watson Institute USA, Collective Earth, AIC Rise, Entrepreneur Space, and he has advised in various summits like Challenge Future Global Summit at Europe, Global Millennium Summit at Dubai, Techstars APEC UN Summit. He's a screening committee member to a various important grants by Government of Gujarat, Nidhi Prayas, Nidhi SSS by TBI. He's a speaker and jury on more than 100 platforms, to name a few: Indian Chamber of Commerce at American Center, Government of India, Government of Gujarat, Vibrant Gujarat, Techstar Apex Summit, Future Summit, Youth in Action, the Institute of Engineers, Out of Box Conference, LinkedIn Mastermind. So we have with us a multiple personality, Mr. Jatin Kataria, whose favorite quote is, "I do not fear failures, but I'm scared not to take risks." And he has built up a culture to start a new venture every 9 months. So, with this background, I would like to start the fireside chat. And my first poser question is, as serial entrepreneur, how many startups you have founded and how many have failed? Tell us the story of one of your venture which is very closest to your heart, which you have screwed up, and how you have come out of it. Yeah, sir.
Okay, so thank you for the introduction. It's seems heavy to me as well. So this kind of an formal introduction increase the gap sometimes when we talk to the audience in offline culture. So yes, I'll try to keep it as much informal as possible. So
Sure, sir.
I guess lot of I kind of made a peace with the failures in life, and that's how I was able to survive and enjoy all the failures. So yes, we have a culture of starting something new every 9 months uh, since few years now. So we keep on doing a lot of experiments. I call myself a process inventor. So somehow know the heck of converting idea into a profitable venture. So we have our own multiple ventures. Beyond that, I'm on board as an advisor with 17 companies with equity. So multiple babies are on.
Right.
Recently, since last 3 months, I've stepped down as a CEO from all my companies. So
Okay.
I'm kind of being free a lot from the operations of it, and started a new vertical 3 months before, which is very close to my heart because that's where I'm going to spend my next 10 years. So I
Okay.
guess I can say that we are done with our babies a lot,
Yeah.
and that's where we are spending time. The company is Investa,
Right.
which represents in for investors, May
Right.
for mentors and staff and startups.
Right.
And just a quick line introduction, we are doing two things within it. People who have the know-how of it, so we do the handholding, and
Right.
people who don't understand that part, then we do the know-how building in them. So for investors as well as mentors, for business community and for the startup side as well.
Right.
So that is how we are doing. Uh, failure, I don't know. Matlab, I can speak for next 1 year if I speak about failures. Yes, but I always believe that failure is a day-to-day process for any entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs survive every day.
Right.
So we might fail every day, twice, thrice, 5 times, 6 times. But if you fail 5 times in a day, we need to come out 6 times a day,
Right.
and then that's what makes us us. So as I said, uh, as you rightly mentioned, I do not fear failures, but I am scared not to take risks. So I am keep on gearing myself that I
Right.
should not be scared for taking risks,
Right.
and we keep on doing it.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have a favorite failure, but I have a lot of failures. So maybe on the way any particular example might come in, but just a little bit background about it. But yes, we fail every day. There is no denial to
Very
it.
true. So, but I'm aware that as a mentor, your policy is very good. That what is not your right means what is not your right market, or what is not your right mentor or something. So how you judge and how you narrow down for making a right decision. I like that thought process of yours very much. So how you would advise the entrepreneurs to focus on the right thing, but thinking that what is not right for them, and
I
choose the
understand.
right
So
answer.
see, I like it's always been the thought process that what you will not do, you should bring clarity there.
Right.
What you would love to do, you can be flexible there. So that's what I always believe in.
Right.
So, like for example, if I'm doing mentoring,
Right.
uh, I have a very clear thought that I am not on the driver's seat. Founders are on
Right.
the driver's seat, so I never take
Right.
decisions for founders.
Right.
I don't put my thoughts into their mind.
Right.
So it's more about they are driving the seat. Maybe I am on the back seat, or maybe I'm in the trunk.
Right.
But if I'm mentoring or advising, it's not me running the car. It's them
Right.
running the car. It's their venture. It's their baby. So it's all on
Right.
them. So that I don't do for sure.
Right.
But I always tell people that build a language sync. So there is a lot going on. Your apple and my apple can be different. So some apple comes green and some apple comes red. Uh, so it's about building the language thing. I realized that many times that is where the gap comes in. When somebody says that we have a huge market, right? So huge market definition of mine and definition of yours can be very different. So it's always
Right.
needed to come in the common language which people don't generally come.
Right.
Uh, so I guess that's where we differentiate and mentoring and advisory separately. That mentoring happens to people, the
Right.
founders, the core team, and advisory happens to company.
Right.
So that is how we segregate two different things. Mentoring is more often on people,
Right.
and advisory is more often company. So
Right.
sometimes when I of advisor, we need to tell them that. Because of your incapabilities or inefficiency, the company is suffering, which is good
Right.
because sometimes founders' readiness is always important. So,
Hmm.
for example, if any company want to raise a fund,
Right.
founder have to be ready to raise the fund. Nobody, you cannot outsource raising the fund. Yes, you can utilize the agencies and organizations and connectors, but it's all on you as a founder.
Right.
So then as an advisor, I have to wait to do the mentoring for startups. So the gap has to be maintained all the time, and which is, I guess, the missing link that we always see.
Right.
So if anybody can bring the commonality in the language, maybe within the founders, or with the investors, or with the mentors, or with the customers and even vendors, it's always needed. And I've always observed the gap there when people deal with anybody.
Right.
So if any of the co-founders are there, if you ask them randomly that
Right.
how much you want to raise funds and what you might want to dilute, if you just ask random, tell them that don't decide right now. If you just write in the piece of paper and give it to us, you will find the gap there as well. So
Right.
there is always a gap in the language sync, and I guess
Right.
I've seen it. The big reason is a failure,
Right.
and I learned from a amazing guy, Anay. He always says that every mentor needs a mentor, even so every founders needs a mentor, but even mentor needs a mentor. So everybody has to have their own mentors with them. And I generally try to define them in three languages. There should be a four kind of mentor, and then eventually advisory board members should be there in your company. Then it's
Right.
great. So one is tech mentor, not just IT, but tech in
Right.
context of R&D as well.
Right.
Second should be the subject matter mentor.
Right.
Like if somebody is running a logistic company, then you should be having somebody who understands the logistic as an industry.
Right.
And third, maybe a business mentor who can help you to build the right business model, understand the product market
Right.
fit, help you to ideate around it. And fourth can be a strategic mentor. And strategic mentor can be any of these three mentor alongside as well. But somebody who helps you to bring more clarity.
Very
Somebody who can, with whom you can do the ideation, somebody who can help you to explore a lot of questions and help
Right.
you to find different pathways. And
Right.
of course, answer has to be picked by the founders. But if these four kind of people are there in every one company, then it becomes much easier. You can reduce the chances of failure for sure, which I learned over the period of time, because I might have talked to 5,000 plus companies in last
Right.
decade. It's been
Right.
almost 10 years since I'm acting into innovation ecosystem. So I was an alien when I was talking about open innovation way back in 2010 in India,
Right.
which sometimes happens right now as well. But yes, language sync is always important. That is what I
Right.
would advise. And this kind of mentor is always makes sense.
True. So the way, because you are telling that mentorship is so important, you are the youth icon and have mentored so many young entrepreneurs. So where the journey means how they can approach the mentor, because generally when they are just at an ideation stage, so they don't even get a right mentor, or sometimes they don't know means that they don't even choose a right mentor. So for example, they want to talk to Mr. Jatin Kataria, for example. So is it readily available for any engineering college student if they have an idea is a 12th graduate? So what is their journey, how they started? Because the way you
So
told,
see,
there are three type of mentors, but to reach that stage also they should have some product and idea in mind.
So I always realize with time that do not hesitate. So what I've seen is that people hesitate a lot. So like, see, I come from a vernacular language background, and I born and brought up in a town, not even a metro. Even right now also I'm living in tier 2, not in tier 1. So where I was born and did my primary schooling, it is in tier 3. So people carry certain complexities within them, where they hesitate to reach to certain people.
Right.
But with time I realized that one, do not hesitate to reach to people. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा
Right.
दिल से no.
Right.
So I have a saying that किसी से कोई चीज मांगो तो ऐसे मांगो कि जैसे अपने बाप की हो. नहीं मिले तो सोच लेना वैसे भी कहाँ अपने बाप की थी. Uh, and these work for me, and it always work for people. That's what I observed.
Right.
That if you go with this approach, it's always nice. And second thing
Right.
which I've learned is that if somebody is saying no, or if somebody is not available, they are not available, or they are saying no at that particular moment only. It's not that it's a no for permanent thing. You can approach them again.
Right.
But I guess people generally have an inclination to help others.
Right.
Majority of the people, you just need to you just need to find the right way or right approach to reach to them.
Okay.
Nothing wrong in approaching, but it is always needed. So if you're making somebody mentor, feel free to explore a lot of things.
Right.
When somebody's doing an arranged marriage, they ask for a lot of biodata of the girls, and they go and do a lot of meetings, and then they finally pick a partner. It's even sometimes similar to that. Sometimes it's even tough to find a good mentor. Uh, but with time, I realized that if you follow certain characteristic of mentors, that's great. So I always say in a younger language that if I want to propose a girl, mentor will be the one who have been there.
Right.
Successful, not successful, that's irrelevant. But they've experienced those things, so that makes more sense. So they can help you to build an ideation.
Right.
But founders know the pathway better. Mentor can just help you to dig it
Right.
more depth, or can
Right.
give you different questions and can give you different pathways.
Right.
So it's like I always say that if I want to propose a girl, I have two options: either I give a yellow rose or I give a red rose, right?
Right.
So there are four possibilities. So if I give a red rose, she might feel that he's coming too fast, and I don't want to be a couple, and it's end game. Second probability is that wow, he gave me the red rose, so he loves me, and then they become a couple. Yellow rose has a tendency that somebody feels that, oh, he's coming slow, so that's good that you want to be friends first, and then maybe something can work out or something cannot. And fourth possibility is that you give a yellow rose and she give you a friend zone, so you are never gonna be a couple. So yes, these four options are existing. So it depends on the guy and the girl, right?
True.
So mentor can ask questions about you and your probable girl, and can give you these four options that
Right.
you and then can help you to identify the answer.
Right.
And then eventually they allow you to take your decision. So if there is a pathway and there are
Right.
two ways, right and left, and
Right.
if mentor tells you to go right and a founder goes left, right, and mentor allows that part to happen and they be comfortable. So even though you go left,
Right.
despite what he said or she said, mentor should be open-minded enough to let the founders make the decision-making process. I have seen that sometimes a lot of mentors be so aggressive that they do the decision-making for founders. Ideally, it should not be happening. So one is somebody who allow yourself to be yourself.
Right.
That can be a good mentor. Second is
Right.
somebody who can be open-minded, somebody who
Right.
understands that they are not the guardian, they are not the savior, they are not the psychologist, they are not your counselor, they are mentor.
Right.
So they are not there to rescue you.
Right.
And somebody who be open-minded to be founders independent enough to learn to take their own decisions, and whether it's right or wrong, they help you to own that decision. So I learned from one of my mentors in the graduation itself. It stuck into my
Right.
mind since then, that no matter what happens, you take your decisions and you own your decisions. Right or
Right.
wrong, it's a secondary thing, but once you own it, it becomes much easier. So there are small things. If you have this kind of people around you who have a right intent,
Right.
who can see things within you in a much better way, that so sometimes very fundamental basic questions, if mentor asks, considering the personality of the founder, not the company need.
Right.
So right mentor is somebody who understands the founder, not the
Right.
company on the front end. Later they can become an advisor and can advise the company as well, but everybody should have mentor. But a lot of people make a lot of mistakes having a wrong mentors. So go slow. I mean, meet them
Right.
one, two, three times, and then you can explore meeting them more times.
Right.
So at least without being judgmental, meet anybody once or twice, and then build your chemistry. So it's like when you found the girl, you found the girl. So you get the feel
True.
that yes, this is my bandi where I can be a couple. So similar thing happened with the mentor as well. You get the vibe. So it should be both the ways. Like if I'm a startup, I should be comfortable with mentors, and mentors should be comfortable with startup as well.
Right.
So that can be an ideal way of picking the mentors.
Right. So you have dealt with Techstars, MS Youth, Techstars, TBIs, Atal Innovation, of course with the government grants. So as a youngster, when he's from college, he want to become an entrepreneur. Okay, so what is his path? Means how he chooses the rightness. Again, same question like a mentor. He has so many options to choose a incubator or a degree because nowadays there are so many degrees also for entrepreneurship. So what should be done? Because entrepreneurship is not taught. You have to practice it. This is something you have to experience it.
So see, I'm a first generation entrepreneur by myself.
Yes.
So like
Yes.
formally, I had no idea what the hell is
True.
going on. So people used to tell that you're an MBA, you know how to start and what to do, and you guys studied the management, business management in depth. But then I realized that even though I did MBA, I was not knowing how to start a company, or how
Right.
to bring a first customer, or how to be the product market fit. So I went into the roots. I always say that if you need an answer, go back to where it started. So I started asking that why MBA started, who started MBA, when was the first batch came in existence. Then I realized that first batch of MBAs came 110 years before, where a group of business people thought that we need a specific skill set to expand the running company. And that's where MBA came into existence 110 years before in US. And that's why nobody teaches in MBA that how to register a company, what is the difference between proprietary partnership and LLP and all this stuff, whether to buy a chair or not buy a chair, whether to rent an office or work from home. So like if somebody is a first time and somebody is doing it for the first venture, buying a small chair and buying a big chair is a big decision for them. Uh, Register a company and not register a company is a big decision for them. And that's why in our region, founding date and month, or sometimes year as well, is different from the registered date. Year, month, and year is very different. So I always say that be fast in what you are trying to do. Don't worry about the failure. So what happens is a lot of people try to be so much perfectionist that they skip the pathway of doing an action. So I always say that thinking and action both are needed. Focus on the action more, because if thinking takes place, uh, it becomes a non-action, and non-action drags you to depression, or non-action drags you to non-relevance and procrastination, and a lot of things happens, and then it's difficult to come out of it. I did very crazy experiments just to get the feel of certain things, and it's still scares me what kind of experience that I did. So it's not good to be there, and what I've seen is that a lot of founders, uh, when especially when they doing it for the first time, they treat the ventures like their baby, which initially I was also doing it. That if anybody criticizes or anybody says no, right? They see, even though my product is best, everybody is not my client, right? So, like for example, somebody might be using Ola, or somebody might be using Uber. So if somebody is using Uber, Ola is a super product. If somebody is using Ola, Uber is a good product. Product gap is not there, but it's their preferences. Right. So my product might not be a preference for certain people.
Right.
But then first time entrepreneurs don't have a habit to listen to no. Right. And then they don't feel comfortable even approaching. I've seen a lot of startup stop approaching to the customers. They somehow sit in the office, they increase the Facebook and Instagram live, they applied for a few awards, they get a couple of awards, they become a speaker in some event, and that screws the entire pathway of the venture. So I always tell that don't forget that you're an entrepreneur. When you're an entrepreneur, you're running the business. So that should be the front line in the thought. And solving a problem differentiate the kind of a traditional and a modern mindset. So understand the problem solution fit, understand the product market fit, and then understand the growth profit fit, and then go into the complexity of it, which makes a lot of sense. But sometimes I've seen that a lot of venture stop doing it. That's why the failing part, the failing number is much higher. But if people focus on the fast cash and fast getting into market and fast reaching into the probable customers and fast improving the feedback based product and services, it is always good. And I observed that when CTO become a CEO, company never goes into market, because it is very difficult to satisfy the CTOs. They always wanted to make a perfect product. So yeah, there are small things. I mean, every aspect has a layer to it. So I always say people, it's not that I am a super rock star, but I have talked to 5,000-6,000 companies, and that makes me realize a lot of things beyond my companies as well. And fortunately, when people ask for a validation of what we have achieved, we have a good list to show to people, which we don't put it in the front line. But yeah, I mean, a lot of founders wait for a validation of their friends and the family members and outside. No, it's more about you and your customers. If you don't forget that you have a business and you need to reach to customer, so simple question: क्या बना रहे हो? कितना charge कर रहे हो? क्यों charge कर रहे हो? I guess it's end of story, and then eventually you can think of what kind of impact that you are trying to create in the world, and what kind of market size that you are preferring.
So, just because we were talking about failures, how much time do you feel an entrepreneur should give for the success of the company? Like for you, it is like 9 months and there is a new venture. So, generally, what do you feel? Entrepreneur should test the waters for how much time?
See, it's all about time versus burn. So if anybody starts a venture, if it goes on hold, there is a burn happening. So sometimes founders don't consider their salaries as a burn. So like for example, if I'm not running my business and I was doing a job, then I might be earning X. But even though I take very nominal amount of salary, it's a cost to the company, which initially people sometimes miss to consider. But with time, people need to understand that they need to talk about the feasibility as well. Second, always listen to the customer. That's what I say, and do it very fast. So like don't do it for 6 months. Do it for 3 days. Do it for a week. Do it for a month. Cut those experiences and take the feedback and improve it. But I always believe, which I learned from one of my friend with whom I work. She's from Singapore. I read that quote, but she made me realize what it means, that doing is better than perfection. So I always say that don't go too much into perfection. Just do it. Keep on improvising the thing. Go fast. I mean, be ready for change. Jump into the water. So when you say that, how much depth they should be picking up, they should jump into the water or not. I said, do it now. I mean, don't do it. Don't wait for it. Surround yourself with people who think fast, who process fast, who can help you to go faster.
Nehal
It allows you to go into action. That's what I felt over the period of time, because initially I was also waiting for the perfect areas to get in, and mold your mind for a change. That's what I believed for myself. So I don't sit in a single chair for my office. So I have to change my chairs. I have to change my. So I don't like consistency in context of the behavior sometimes as well. Because earlier, people used to say that you have 10 years to change the business. So her business like 10 hota hai. That is what we have learned, which was much higher earlier. It was 20 before that generation, and then 10. But it came down around 3.5 years. So at one time we learned that to settle any business you need 1000 days, and one side we learned that in 3.5 years your company will die if you don't reinvent. So now this gap is much closer. So you have to keep on changing a lot of things. You cannot make yearly plan. I mean, you have to touch your yearly plan every few months. You cannot make 3-year plan. You need to touch your 3-year plan every few months.
त्यांनी इंटरनेट बंद केलं.
But if you
काय करायचं होतं त्याला?
मला सांगितलं का 15-20 मिनिटात
Request everybody to mute themselves.
इंटरनेट बंद करतोय, केलंय म्हणजे काय सांगते. आणि
I think you can carry on. Yeah.
Now, as a host, you can do it if you touch that.
आम्ही बंद केलंय.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So just go for it. I mean, it's a very simple process. Find a problem, validate the problem. Okay. Or make a list of problem. Pick your favorite, validate that problem, whether it is existing or you think it is existing, right? Then with that problem, make a list of solutions. And while making a solution, don't do 3 things. करना चाहिए कि नहीं करना चाहिए, कर सकते नहीं कर सकते, और करेंगे कि नहीं करेंगे. So what happens is that what happens when people ideate, that they start discussing 1 or 2 solutions and then go into the nitty-gritty of it. And when you go into nitty-gritty of, there is a lot of complexity comes in, and a lot of agreement, disagreement come in, and that's where you miss to list the solutions.
Right.
So ignore these 3 things and make a list of solution. Pick your favorite solution, validate that solution, that people want it or not. Check who is doing into similar kind of thing and what uniqueness that you are bringing. That's where people will shift from the current solutions to your solution.
Right.
Put a price to it and validate the price. And go into the market. Mohana, don't worry. I just reading your message.
Yeah.
It's okay if your mic was not good. It's
fine. She's my madam from law college. So the perfect song. So there is one more serious problem, which means you are dealing with youth mental health. One of you are an advisor in one of the startup, and last year we also saw a lot of things that happened. So in case, means, if entrepreneur is going into depression, for which nobody is discussing, so what is the advice for that entrepreneur, how he can come out of that?
Okay, so being a CEO is a lonely journey. There is no doubt about it, whether we like it or not, right? So first thing first is that surround yourself with CEOs with whom you can interact. So see, it looks fascinating from the outside when you are running a company. But when you go on the other side, it's a lonely journey for sure. If you are co-founders, it's great. It helps you to discuss and figure out a lot of things. But having a co-founder have their own perspective as well, building the sync and keeping it at the level is a tough task. But having a co-founder is a great experience. But still, it's a lonely journey as a founding team. So make sure that if like anybody who is there, surround yourself with a lot of CEO. Keep on meeting, keep on discussing. Those things. Second, becoming a CEO is a dustbin job sometimes. Make a culture where people don't just come with the problem. So what happens, what I've seen is that the more you grow, people come to the CEO when the problem comes. It's about making the CEO the dustbin. Okay, so one is being a CEO, fall in love with the dustbin as a process. Else, it might not be a good journey at large. And second is make a culture where people come and share good things with you as well. So you don't feel like that people are coming to throw the problem as a garbage to you and then you are cleaning it or you are solving it on the front layer. So it's more about building that kind of a culture within the company or within the team or within the associates. That makes a lot of sense. But yes, it's a very difficult journey because a lot of people ask that what is the frequency of you being down or what is the frequency of you facing the problem. Oh, that like for the entrepreneurs, the frequency is multiple times in a day. Fortunately or unfortunately, depending on the experiences that people carry. But if the moment we accept that this is a tough journey, then I always say that focus on what you love doing. So if you're doing a business which you're not loving, you're anyway not going to enjoy. So like so I don't sometimes remember that which day it is because I enjoy doing business so much. And if I don't enjoy, I say no. So I don't care about those things. I should be like it's my perspective. A lot of people might disagree with me. But if I'm running my company, I should be happy, or I should be enjoying. Yes, I should not be running away from the new things or challenges and all. That's a great thing to explore. So make peace with problems. Have fun solving the problems. Solve it one more time than the number of problems. Talk to people. Take time for yourself. Breathe. So a lot of entrepreneurs forget to breathe. So keep on breathing. Keep on taking time for yourself. Reflect for yourself. Reflect for your company. Because running is not an answer. Sometimes you need to stop, pause, and analyze that. Am I running in the right direction? Should I run or should I take a flight? You know. So people don't ask these questions. They just want to do it a little faster. So sometimes it's good to hold. Sometimes it's good to hold. Go back to 30 kilometers back to airport and then taking the flight and going is much easier rather than running it. So sometimes going big is also good. Uh, Accept it, few things, and change it whenever needed. So don't fall so much in love with your thoughts. Be open. So with time, when the company grows, with time, it's not about you eventually. It's all about the customers later part of it. And you need to build that chemistry and sync as an entrepreneur. So it's a tough journey sometimes. And when the crisis comes, it's a tough moment. So stay surrounded by the other people, ask questions, discuss with it. And I guess that is where the most important task comes is having a mentor on board with you, where you can discuss with them in from all front of it. And at the end, choose a right life partner. Choose right girlfriend, boyfriend, because they are the ones who is there behind you all the time and sometimes in front of you as well.
So the friends and
Have good
family
friends.
help.
Have good friends. Don't forget to live life. Watch movies. Go for a vacation. Enjoy walking. Take breaks. World is not dying. Your life comes once. These are very simple things. Keep remembering that you are here to whatever your purpose is, but you are here to enjoy however you want to do. So, but tough thing. I understand. A lot of people face that and they are not able to resolve this. So talk to more people. That's where it comes as a front road. What do you?
So the way you tell that money bun is the main problem when you are in a mess. So you are on a screening committee of various government grants also. You are associated with the investors also. And every startup has a dream that I am starting it, that I'm going to become a unicorn. So how to bring them into reality? Because like in COVID or any that means not everybody will get investor.
No, so
So
I have no doubt that everybody will get an investor or everybody cannot be. Only it is possible. Only thing is, so what I've observed is, so if you see what is happening, so see what differentiate modern way from the traditional way. So for example, if you pick the business model, so there should be multiple complexity. That is what I always say. So for example, if I'm teaching somebody smartphone. So if I charge 1,000 rupees for a workshop, then it's my complexity zero, right? People understand that what I'm doing. So whatever business model that anybody can understand, it's called complexity business model zero. Okay. But in your company, it should be having complexity business model one, complexity business model two, complexity business model three, which is not seen on which you can't see it on the front end. Right. So for example, if I help people to download Make My Trip, Goibibo and Is My Trip, and then if I teach them Make My Trip and I ask Make My Trip that I'll build a behavior of people using the Make My Trip when they book a flight or maybe a hotel, uh, they are spending a lot of money to bring those dedicated people on the platform. So if you can think of a different business model, so this is complexity one, right? So if I ask people that whether people will pay 1,000 rupees for a smartphone teaching or not, majority people will say no, right? And then later if I say whether people will be, whether you can make 5,000 rupees per person or not, people will call me mad. But then I think that if can companies like Goibibo give me X money per person, or Ola Uber say Uber give me Y rupees per person, or Paytm Book My Show say Book My Show can give me Z rupees per person. So that is called complexity one, where market will not fight. Uh, so see, when it comes to investment, I see very simple things. So what I've learned working with a lot of angels and a lot of VCs and a lot of angel fund and VC fund and government grants as well. I realized one simple thing, said that there are 4 layers. That's what I felt. Not investable ventures, investable ventures, investment ready ventures, and investment pitch ready ventures. So there are 4 stages. So not investable doesn't make sense. But majority of ventures are investable but not investment ready. So let me explain how it happens. So for example, I'm running a good company. I'm an investable company, but I don't know term sheet, or I don't know how much to raise. I don't know what I should raise. I don't know where I'll use it. So it's about missing link of uh, why I need money and what I'll do with it. And when the modern investor comes in, not the traditional investor. Traditional investor don't do much anything, but modern investor comes in, they do the founders agreement, they explore the ESOP, they explore the term sheet, where you as a founder understanding the term sheet and investment and the terminologies around it, which makes you investment ready, right? Which generally majority of the startups are not, which is very shocking for me when I see a lot of ventures, especially in our country, or even those who are second stage mature countries when it comes to innovation ecosystem. No, like I've seen nobody talks about cap table or cap or participating and non-participatory, pre-money, post-money, drag along, tag along. They don't talk these language. And I always say that in whichever segment you are entering into, you should be knowing the language of it. And I guess that's where I see the gap. So it's not that in our belt, uh, investable ventures are not there. There are so many investable ventures, but they are not investment ready. And if sometimes they are not investment pitch ready. So if startups just consciously focus on that part, I think it will become much easier for them to raise fund. It's not the tough stuff. Lot of platforms are already there to help there. So that's where it comes that you go to the good incubator, you go to the good accelerator if you don't know how directly to raise the fund. So there are a lot of platforms which can tell you. So it's all about picking the pathway and direction of the venture. So depending on the that's sometimes always important. But I see a lot of time the traditional thought process, CA comes in and they make business plan without even meeting you, and then people expect that they raise the fund. It's never going to happen. Uh, so if I just summarize in one simple list, idea doesn't matter much. The dependency of idea for decision making is 1%. Let me rephrase it. It is a first percentage. The idea, then comes the team and team. So founding team, the core team, the mentor and advisory team, and also the vendor, supplier, and resource team as well. So like if I am taking decision on behalf of investor, this is the whole, I'll see it as a team. And the next immediate phase that comes in is not the business plan. A lot of people make business plan, which is not the reality, right? It's about Excel sheet. I can change the numbers without even asking.
Yes.
So a lot of CA, if you just call them that I want to make a business plan, this blah blah blah, and then make a business plan without even meeting you.
True.
So business plan never work. It's all about
Never
execution.
work. True.
And then scale up model, where scale up means you can exponentially grow without being dependent much on the resource.
True.
Right. So growth and scale is what? So if you bring 10 employee and you can sell 50 products, you bring 20 employee and you can sell 120 products, you bring 30 employee and you can sell 160 products. But when it comes to sell scale, you bring 10 employee, they can sell 60. If you bring 20, they can scale 300. If you can bring 30, they can scale 1,000. So if that kind of a grow is happening, then it's a scalability aspect of it. So resource versus growth has to be a very different. So if scalable, then it makes sense. And then it has to come on the auto mode eventually, as much as you can. So if this is the sequence, then it is possible to raise the fund. But just in a single line, if you see from the other aspect of it, Nehal, if you are an investor and I'm a startup, just assume that way. If you are putting 1 crore in my company and taking 20% equity, which means that my company's valuation is 5 crore rupees. Okay, so you are giving me 1 crore, I'm giving you 20% equity. So valuation is 5 crore. Very simple. Now imagine that you as an investor, you want money back, right? It's about, so imagine that within the 4 to 7 years of time, you want 5x, just a random number. So you want 5 crore from me. If you invested 1 crore, you want 5 crore. So if you want 5 crore, my company should be at 25 crore. So while you giving me 1 crore, if you can see me making 25 crore, now there is the gap. Right. So when you investing 1 crore in my company, if you can visualize my company at 25 crore, then and then you will put money. Otherwise, you'll not. Okay. In other contrary, if I can see, I should not take money from you. I should go to the bank or I should ask friends and family to give me 1 crore rather than giving you 20%. And I guess that is where the big gap comes. So when we should pick good investment, it's not about money. It's more about strategic money that should come in. So if you as an investor come on board with me, I should be able to grow faster, scale faster. I should be able to do certain things with you in a much better way. So if you are adding value to me as a startup, not by just the money, but in many other way, then I should take money from you. Same way, contradicting in other way. And I guess these are the fundamentals that people don't even talk about. People just talk that what is the valuation of my company, which should be never the initial pathway of getting into it. And simple, seed funds, angel fund, series 3, series A, maybe series A, series B. If you just understand the basic of it, that why there is a breakup, why fund utilization happens for particular reason only. So if people understand much deeper the investment layer, I guess the problem doesn't exist. See, it is the similar problem as the job versus employment. So colleges says that job doesn't exist. Industry says that employable when people are not there. So that's the gap. If you see from the investment side, they are looking for good startups. If you go from the startup side, they are looking for good investment. But the midway is a missing link, and I guess that's why good incubator or good accelerator or good consulting agencies help you to grow there. So I learned from amazing thing from one guy. Last thing that spend. So the guy named Jagat Shah taught me the single line that spend, worry, and earn. That should be the ideal pathway. Many a time people don't want to spend, and now because grant is so much accessible, people are kind of not becoming spend centric, and everybody thinks from a grant perspective. So the mindset is going in a very different way. Of course, grant is always a good support system, but if entrepreneurs can digest it, then it's a good thing. Otherwise, it becomes little tough.
So we will be taking up one question from the chat. The question is more like the digitization during COVID. So basically, there may be some startups who has to change the strategy during COVID. I think we had a Techstars during COVID also. So what is your view? Like mainly logistics and all the startups. So have you seen that many startups have become redundant or they have to change that strategy drastically during the COVID and for the new normal?
So see, I understood one simple thing. There is a lady called Nadia who speaks always about it, and I deeply believe in that part as well. That reinventing your company should not be a project. It should be a day-to-day process. It should be in the culture. So, like for example, few years before 2000, like 8 9 years before, we 4 people from 4 different countries started a vertical, and our fifth tech teams were sitting in the fifth country. Since the ideation stage till later part of it, we never met in person ever, all together, never ever. And in our alpha stage of experiment, we had users from 86 countries, um, which was very shocking for a lot of people to know, right? That when the world was not like how you can meet people online and do the business, right? It was nonsense when I used to speak these things. You don't need to meet. Like everything happens virtually, and a lot of organizations and a lot of research bodies says that virtual collaboration is the future. If not today, people had to learn it eventually. Because of COVID, it came much faster. But I used to do virtual collaboration 10 years before, so I was always comfortable meeting people online, building technological productivity. In my city, many of people think that I am a tech guy, and I'm a mechanical engineer. I come from an oil and gas background. I don't understand the coding much, but yes, I understand how to utilize the technology, and I guess that's why people by default think that I come from a tech background, which I'm not. So utilizing the technology is always a good thing. And like for example, I learn new tool every week since many years now. So I was using all this like Zoom, Seleke, Slack, Seleke. I was using for many years, syncing the calendar and utilizing certain extensions and merging a lot of things. uh, and it's a very simple question, that COVID was going to come. We all knew it. It was happening in many other countries before us, many months before. When we started changing our company, if you are an entrepreneur, or when you started preparing yourself to the probable change that might be coming, right? Italy scenario was very difficult. China scenario was very difficult. We knew that it will come to us, but sometimes as a human being, we prefer to ignore all of things like death. People think that I'm gonna live for 100 years. They don't see that I might die someday, right? And of course, I know that I'm gonna live for 100 years. Maybe 80, 90 is also comfortable for me. Uh, but it's all about accepting that that is the reality. And sometimes people don't prefer to do that. We love fooling ourselves so much since the school time. Like I say that I completed my reading for an exam. Right? It's about me fooling myself, which is anyway going to reflect in my results, right? So even though we knew that the COVID is coming, still majority of us were not prepared for the replications around it. We started acting when it came as a force. So the first case came in a different city in the southern part of the country. Then also we are knowing that it entered into India. It's going to affect our business, if not now, then in future, in a very short time. Still we were ready. It's a question, right? So if you have a habit of dealing in crisis, it's already late. So we just need to prepare a lot more in advance for every changes that's gonna come. And if you have a awesome bonding and love with the change, I guess things should be pretty much okay. So somehow I found a COVID time as a very amazing time to build a great team, step down myself from the operational role, start another company, and now we are going in a very superb directions. And for next 10 years, it'll be a great thing. The new vertical as well.
True.
I have talked to people in 72 countries in the COVID time.
True.
Everything has a plus and minus. You just need to figure out what is plus for you, and you just need to accept that what is minus for you, and you need to find a better way. You cannot complain about it. As an entrepreneur, you cannot complain about it. It's a very simple characteristic. You have to be a solution oriented, and you have to be an hopelessly optimistic. If you don't have these two characteristics, you need to build it. It's an entrepreneurial thinking process. There is no option other than this.
So, picking up one more question from the chat, you are in this entrepreneurial ecosystem since more than 10 years and must have seen ventures in across all sectors. So, is there any sector you feel where the venture cannot happen or you will screw up? Means basically, the question is there any sector where the venture can be screwed up? But I think if you have an idea, so what is your answer to this?
So see, so I will not divide it in an industry wise. Let me change the route. point of it. Any industry which will not change or which is not a habit of changing, they'll die. So see, I'll give you an example. So there is a very good company based in my city. So all the automobile companies were not operating, right, for 2 months, a complete lockdown time. True. So all automobile company across the country were closed. They were not selling cars. They were not selling bikes. The owners of those franchises were talking about getting into new businesses where fast moving is there. All these things were happening. So there is one guy who into automobile dealership in Mexico. Uh, he sold products in 2 months in 8 figures, which I'm talking about crore plus.
Right.
Like, so they sold the product of more than a crore.
Right.
And when everybody was just blaming the situation and not doing anything. So this guy once a day he thought that why not to do it virtually? Why not to do it a trial for 4-wheeler and 2-wheeler both? And they end up making crore plus revenue, and they end up paying the salaries for their team as well. So they've changed. So it's all about bringing that change within the industry. You need to figure out what can be that change. It is, of course, capital versus risk versus revenue, burn versus the income as well. But yes, it is a high burn. You need to find a much faster and better solution. So it's not an industry specific thing. I don't see it that way. I see it from a very different angle, because you just need to find the right reinvention model. It can be a product reinvention, it can be a service reinvention, it can be a supply chain reinvention, it can be a business model reinvention, it can be a customer reinvention. So there are a lot of ways through which you can evolve around that thing.
So there is one more question. More clarity about किसी ऐसे मैटो की sorry.
What is the question?
I'm not understanding. There is one more question. More clarity on what? हाँ, you ask to a mentor. जैसे अपने means you go to any mentor and ask the advice. So they want the more clarity on that. And there is one more question, that how you keep so calm about so much Miss Chaos. How you maintain so much calm?
I guess I'm so much calm because I'm married since 6 years now. Okay.
And I think and another question was like the way I initially asked, that you go for asking to the mentor, so you use one word, so they want to know more about it. It is by Pitambar. I can unmute him and he can ask. Pitambar, you can unmute yourself and speak to the speaker.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible?
Yes, Pitambar,
Yeah.
go for it.
सर, जो आपने बताया कि किसी से मांगो कि अपने बाप की चीज हो, तो मान लीजिए हम सर इन्वेस्टर के पास गए हो, आप चेक लिखेंगे या मैं जाऊं? तो सर तो बोलेगा भाई तू जा। मतलब कि वो कैसे अपने मतलब की बात को सामने रखें?
So see, I already realize when I say this कि ऐसे मांगोगे जैसे बाप की हो. Like it depends how you talk to your बाप. It's different for everyone. But it's about do not hesitating while talking to people. So yeah, why not go and ask them that write a check for me, and then they'll shoot few questions. For sure, if you're ready for it, they don't mind putting that much. I've seen a lot of cases where founders actually do this. वो stop करते हैं investor को. So they see कि वो कौन सी flight में गए, कहाँ पे check in किया, होटल के waiting room में बैठे रहते हैं 5-6 घंटे. मैंने ऐसा भी देखा हुआ है. And it depends on the investors. Sometimes they see positively, sometimes they see negatively, but it's always about trying. So the question is that do you really need fun to get into it? I still remember the engineer Babu founder going behind the Make My Trip CEO. They did an internal discussion, and then somebody said that you need to talk to him and meet him. So he started shooting emails, and he started shooting multiple emails, and then he started doing that. My attempt number 48, then my attempt number 49, and they started bringing 100 people, and then putting on board that we want to talk to you. My attempt number 59. So it's up to you. I mean, I don't know what might work, what might not, but that worked for him. So I was speaking to the Engineer Babu co-founder, when I went to Indore. So he was sharing this story that how they reach to them. So it's up to you. Find, so see, everybody have their comfort and preferable area. You need to find those areas. So like very simple thing. You must be reading newspaper or magazine, maybe some particular author on a regular day. To that author, maybe not. Uh, or maybe, but if you're not given a feedback to that author, even if you're reading for 15-20 years, it's always good to give them the feedback, and then you can connect with them. So connecting with people is much easier. I always say people that stop treating people as celebrities. It will make things much easier for you to reach to them. Or maybe somehow I was more exposed in a very early age, without planning. So I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of people across the world with an early young age. But that came as in that I always say that if people laugh at you, go one step above. If people laugh at you, go one step above. And that's how I entered into the global world. And especially when we are young, a lot of people ignore our thought process. A lot of people ignore us, or our thought process or our behavior. And it hurt. So I used to try to keep beard and wait for white hair to come so people consider me seriously. Now it is a reverse way. But yes, I'm not that old though. But it's always good to find the right area where you can reach to people. So observe them, study them, check if it is beneficial for them or not, and then it is easy to reach to them. That's how I see. And somebody was talking about chaos, I guess. Uh, Build your multiple identities. That is what I would tell to people, and that makes things a lot much easier. I'll give you one example which I was doing, which was a blunder for my life, and then it becomes my most powerful weapon over the period of time. That I used to write an email from my email ID to me on my another email ID. So I used to write, "Dear Jatin, I am a marketing officer of your company, and I am planning to do this. Kindly revert back to me within 2 days. Thank you, Jatin Kataria, your CMO." This I used to drop in the morning, in the night, after reaching at home, getting freshened up, and I reply as a CEO that, "Hi Jatin, my CMO. I am Jatin as a CEO of the company. I am telling you that this is what you should not do. This is what you should do." Right. So it was me reflecting back on it, and now I can say, if I could share with you earlier, कि कोई मुझे 100% पागल खाने छोड़ देता. But now I can share. So start developing your multiple roles. So I have my own roles. So I differentiate my role in a different way. My role as a son of my father, a role of a husband, a role of a brother, role of an uncle, then role of a CEO of my company, maybe CMO of my company, another company, role of a mentor. So I have my list of roles, and I have my own way of behaving it might create a split personality, but I take it as a compliment, having a split personality, not as a problem.
Okay. So now
so I enjoy changing the head.
We have multiple questions from speaker, the participants. So shall I tell them to unmute, or yeah, Divya, would you like to unmute yourself and ask the question to the speaker? So the question is how to prioritize multiple ventures. How you would prioritize your multiple ventures?
I would advise. Yeah, so one is that you have to be very structured. Keep in mind that every successful venture core 6 roles. There is undeniable to it. So marketing officer, operations officer, finance officer. So marketing, finance, and operations. Technical, CTO, and CEO, and CCO, chief customer officer. So these are the 6 roles much needed to run the company smoothly. Right. So if you're running one company, then one company versus 6 roles. 2 company versus another 6 roles, so 12 roles. 3 company, 18 roles. These are the core roles. Within that, there are multiple roles as well. So if you can manage this complexity within the company with time, then it is great. Otherwise, pick your favorite company. Okay. So what I did is I always build a good, try to bring a lot of people on board with me, and then I come out from my own company once it is money making and profit making at certain extents, and then I focus on something else. So I knowing my behavior, that I'll never raise fund. Okay, so what I did is I started understanding the investment aspect of it from the beginning itself. Because if any investor comes to you, they want you to focus on one venture, and that was not me. It's me. It's more about exploring and learning and evolving and doing experiment and trying a lot of things and shifting a lot of things. Uh, so then I prefer to bring teams, prefer to bring leadership roles, prefer to explore a lot of things. I guess I love that part, and I knew that. So I still remember I got an offer from a VC company. So I was working with a VC company on a senior role. They offered me to be the MD for India for their investment arm. Director of India. So there were two other directors, and they asked me to be the director. And he said that you don't worry about your any venture. We'll put as much money as needed. You just need to attend the board meeting of your company. We want you to fully focus on us. And then I said no, because I said to them that if I wanted to get into that direction, I might not have come into entrepreneurship at all. So I come from an oil and gas background. All my batchmates are at an amazing salary and amazing profile. So मैं कभी बाहर ही नहीं निकलता, तो मैं जॉब ही करता. Like I'm the first entrepreneur of my university, if I know it correctly. So वो मेरा choice ही नहीं होता कभी भी. So you need to be very clear on what you don't want to do. So I was very clear that I'll not go there. So I'm still connected with them, not as much as I was involved earlier. I kind of their support team as an investment firm, but I was very clear that I'm saying no to them in next 5 minutes, because I was getting that long run clarity for me that where I'm going to head. Try to bring it. It's tough, but try to keep on reflecting every year, every month, if it is possible, on where are you heading, why are you heading, what do you love to do, why are you doing it. So it's always good to ask yourself that are you enjoying right now? Do you need to change anything? Do you want to bring somebody to ease a few things with you? I was always okay to dilute equity. I was never worried about bringing partners and bringing good people who lead a lot of things. I guess that makes me much more easier. I was always so comfortable that it's okay, तो company बंद कर देंगे, कोई problem नहीं है. So don't take so much load when running the company. It will make things much easier while running the company. And sometimes pressure brings wrong decisions. If you keep it easy, then it's much easier.
Okay. The another question is from Anita ji. One of the success and failure route you said is agility, your agility. Agility is so much influenced by those who are your co-founders and your funders, and you are often a charm to influence people on the path you want to take. What is your thoughts on it?
What is your
Thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, choose your surrounding very carefully, because it is addictive. So we have a say. So even an intern have a much power than the CEO sometimes. So with us, we have a task-based CEO as a culture. Okay. So in our companies, we don't have a designation culture. So if you meet our team member, they can give you any designation, even though intern have all the rights to explore a lot of things. So I'm just giving you a perspective. So if a task given to somebody, that person becomes a task-based CEO, even though that person is an intern. And then once that person is a task-based CEO, right from the basic intern to the CEO, everybody becomes your team. So you can utilize them to make the task better. Right. It's not about the hierarchy. I don't know. I'm a very informal guy. Been into different culture. We don't have a permission culture as well. People just need to inform. People just need to say that, sir, today the task which we're supposed to submit, can we submit it tomorrow? I'm going to watch a movie with my girlfriend, and we are okay with it. So I guess it's all about being more open on the top management side, because people should have fun in life. The job or work should not be the pressure for them. So if they are enjoying, then they should work. Otherwise, we help them to find a good profile or good work. So lot of the teammate, lot of interns and lot of teammate jumped into the entrepreneurship by themselves, focusing on their dreams and wide dreams, their interest area. Nikhil is one of them. Nehal, he was interning with us, and then he became a CEO for the Inspire Talk, and then he's trying to build a journey. So yeah, it happens with us, and we are always open to do those kind of things. Allow people. You just help people to fulfill their dreams and wild dreams. They'll help you to fulfill yours. That is what I believe in, and that is what works in my perspective. But sometimes people criticize it, but I am okay with it.
So this is a very basic question. Like when we are getting a means we are very new entrepreneur. What should be the minimum marketing budget? We have not yet even met the investor. So what should be the minimum marketing budget we should burn the money?
So see, I to always say that even before building the product, go and talk to your customers. Uh, Take money in advance, even though your product is not ready. Feel free to take money for trial as well, even though you are doing alpha or beta. Feel free to go into that direction. Start thinking about sustainability from the beginning itself. If you know how you make money, it then will be easy for you to do the marketing. Initially, you should run by yourself. I mean, doing advertisement might not make sense in the beginning aspect of it, but talk to your friends, talk to your families, do the legwork, go into the market, talk to people over the call or the form personally, which will give you the realistic insight on what they are feeling, whether they like our product or not. So just putting money initially in the marketing, in my perspective, doesn't make sense. Yes, with time you can do that once you have a clarity that this is the market that we are focusing on. Once you know who is your market, and now because of the digital thing, that might be an easier route to do it. But try to bring early customers much faster. So focus on bringing the first customer, first 10, first 50, first 100, making 1 lakh, making 5 lakhs, making 10 lakhs as revenue, then making 1 lakh, making 5 lakhs, making 10 lakhs as the profit, and put a timeline to it that I want to do it by this many months. Uh, Initially, if somebody's first time and sometimes even second time, they go so slow in converting customer and reaching to them. I guess that's what kill a lot of things. I always tell people that book your customers in advance. Put an X price to your product, give them a discounted rate, but bring your customers. It will give you a different set of feeling, even though it's a small amount. So I'm a first paid customer of 93 startups. And it's a beautiful, so I, like for example, I write a check of 3,000 rupees for a product. So a lot of people have not even put it into bank. So some people call me that says your check is in our desk. It's on the board, soft board in front of us, that whenever we feel that it's not going to work, we see the check and we say that no, we need to deliver the product to him in his city. So we need to expand, we need to execute in our city, and then we need to expand in his city. So we can utilize this check and give the product. Maybe, of course, they need to get a new check for sure. But try to meet your early adopters. So I always say that, for example, go to an event and then ask that who loves to watch movies, right? And ask them that who loves to watch movies without watching the review, right? So out of maybe 20, you might find 2, and talk to those 2 about your product. So try to build your own hack, identifying the probable customers, because if somebody knows, especially in our country, somebody knows that you are an early venture. I will not call it a startup, because somebody who is having a $100 million, they are also known as startup. But somebody who is in an early stage startup, if people know, they'll prefer to be an advisor immediately rather than becoming a customer. So find your early adopters, talk to them. Don't waste time talking to everybody. Ask different questions like, do you watch movies without taking reviews? If the answer comes yes, that it's a little high probability that they might buy your product rather than they criticize your product. So narrow your audience, find your niche to identify early adopter within them, sell your product to them in the beginning. It might make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But
So
initially, go on the ground level, run by yourself. It will give you a lot of insight. Yes, Neil, go.
I think Pitambari ji had similar question. What are the steps to validate the idea? Which I think you replied a bit, or you can elaborate on that.
So see, identify whose problem you're trying to solve. Sometimes people do, okay, I have this idea and then I want to solve this problem. So sometimes, 3 technology people comes and meet and they say that we want to make an app. And then we are trying to figure out this map will solve whose problem, right? And then eventually, like after some time, I ask them that why app? To solve that problem, you can do it without app as well. Why you need to do an app? So they never thought of it. So because they are a coder, they build a perspective that they need to build an app, right? So when I ask sometimes that it's good that you know the blockchain, but why you need a blockchain? And then sometimes people don't have an answer. So it's always about going back to the problem, that whose problem you're trying to solve, what problem you're trying to solve. If you find that answer, you will find your audience, right? How big the problem defines your market size, whose problem will define your probable customer range. Check who else are doing the similar kind of thing, why people will come to your platform, why they'll utilize your product, why they'll utilize your service. That is where Rather than validating an idea, validate a problem. Then validate an idea, and don't love your idea. If there is a better idea to solve that problem, change your idea. So I always tell people, don't pivot at a problem. Keep the problem same. Pivot at a solution level and think of a better solution than what you're thinking. So talk to more people. After making a problem, talk to those people who are facing a problem. That are you facing this problem? Yes. What do you think might be a better solution? Or do you think this can be a better solution? If we launch it, will you use it? So talk to 5, 10, 20, 30, 50 people. You will get an insight. And it's a journey for everyone. It's not that somebody who is running a sixth venture and they don't need to do it. No, they need to do it as well.
So another question is, what is the success rate of women entrepreneurs in India, and what are the industries they excel in? Based on
I
that?
have no idea.
Uh,
but I always believe that women have a more capability to handle the complexities because they're anyway handling much deeper in the life, and it just need to bring that angle towards it. I guess now a lot of women are entering into the entrepreneurship business, and in my way they sometimes they be better at taking a lot of decisions. I'm not being a gender biased certain extent, but I respect the capacity of thought process and digesting system by a woman, especially in our country. So yes, I see a lot of potential. Like in my couple of company, I have women partners with me, and I've dealt with a lot of women entrepreneurs and a lot of women decision makers and even women investors as well. I see them doing really great. So I see a better future as a more and more women coming into the world. I really don't know the success rate. I'm sorry because I don't believe in these numbers because if number is higher, I want to understand why that is the number. So I give you an example. A lot of people says that in India, 90% of business fails, right? I heard this number. I still trying to read this research behind it. I'm trying to find it. Okay, who did this 90-10 research kind of thing? When they say 90-10, what exactly they're talking about, what stage they're talking about, which region, which area they're talking about. But for example, if you see, so what I love about Techstars Accelerator is that they have a success ratio of 87%. What I love about Founder Institute is that they have success ratio of 46%. So try to see good practices. Okay, what they are doing great, that the numbers are exactly reverse to what we are reading. Right, implement those things, talk to those people. So I see, in my way, if you are expert in pivoting based on the need of the problem and need of the customers, you don't need to die. Okay, and eventually if you feel that you need to kill it faster.
I think now the question is, okay, Anita ji, just a sec. Nisha is asking, how often should the business model be revamped or restructured?
I would not say revamp or restructure. I would say that keep on building the complexities. You need to listen to the customers. Sometimes as an entrepreneur, you miss to do that, or we miss to do that. So for example, if you go to a restaurant, if you don't like the food, and if the restaurant owner miss to read that, see that, or hear that, they are losing the customer in the restaurant, right? It happens in your venture as well. So try to build a structure where you can know what they are feeling, getting the feedback, talking to them. So see, that's why I said that in the beginning, you yourself go to the ground level because you can understand what they are feeling, what they are reflecting. And with the time, that is the core part of it. If you're not listening to them, you might die around it. So keep the eye on in context of drifting the model or restructuring it. But one thing I'll say definitely for sure, that the nature of changing it is much faster than it was earlier. So you need to constantly keep in observation that what is happening around it, because somewhere somebody like you and me or small group of people are doing something which might kill you or which might pull you out of the market. So try to solve a problem. Don't just run a business. If you solve a problem, your customer will be with you all the time. Take care of them. Okay. If you just go and don't take care of your customer, you might lose them. So CRM softwares give this advice all the time, and I like that as well. I heard it from a HubSpot session that attract So it should be a structure to attract customers, then retaining them. So there should be a strategy to retain them, and there should be a strategy to give them the delight. So pull your pipeline, bring your customers, give them a delight experience. They'll be with you, and keep on talking to them that where you can improve, where you can. So if you listen to them, it is much easier. Sometimes majority of the problem resolves only by listening itself and just responding to them rather than reacting to it.
So the way we are talking about the change and revamping and internalizing. So for the, what is your advice for the early age startup or the first generation startups? Like if they are failing, is it okay for them to close the business or means again revamp the strategy? Means what is your
In my
thinking?
perspective, you don't need to close, right? So in my perspective, if problem is validated,
Right.
if not, then validate the problem. If problem is validated, you just need to find a better way of doing it.
True.
Right? See, I'll give you what happened. So in reality, people start, imagine that you want to start a college. Okay, that is your idea, right? And then in the meantime, you realize, so see, I see people, so when we use the word pivoting, a lot of people misuse the opportunity and not having the skill of dealing with it. That's why I'm giving you an example. So if I want to start a college, my focus should be on starting a college. But what happens is that on the way, what happens is that I see that in my college, I'll need 5,000 chairs. And I have a group circle now who are running a college who want to start a college. So then let me start a chair manufacturing company. Right, because I myself will needed it and others will also be needing it. Then I realized that if I'm running a college, I can build a whiteboard and a marker pen manufacturing as well. Then I start a canteen and I start a franchisee of canteen. I start a stationery as well. I start a paper manufacturing as well. These are opportunities, and I guess that's where startups keep on diverting with the opportunity, and I guess that is where everything goes wrong. So we need to remember that why we started a company. So, we just keep on running the college in a better way rather than starting a chair manufacturing, rather than starting a board manufacturing, rather than starting a stationery, rather than starting a canteen, because you have that network, because you are in that industry. So sometimes people don't. So that's the biggest reason I see as a failure, that people don't know that they're talking about running 5 companies. And within 1 or 2 weeks time, they're talking about running 3 more companies. And they don't even know that they're talking about running 5 companies together.
Right.
So you need to differentiate it, and then you need to pick one and address those one, and then you will not fail. That's what I understand with time, because I discussed with a lot of, like, typically I might have uh, help in bringing clarity, which allowed them not to die. That number could be more than 1,000 ventures. So don't just kill. Okay, focus on the problem, focus on one company. Don't change with the opportunity. Then it is not pivoting, it is rescuing, or it is running away, right? That is not pivoting. So we just need to understand that, are we pivoting or are we running away from what we are supposed to do?
True. So Anita ji has asked, I think we dealt on this thing, depression, that personality, stress, and mental health are part of entrepreneurial journey. One study shows 72% mental health concerns among entrepreneurs. There is hardly any attention to the mental health of entrepreneurs. What is the situation in India, or how you deal with it?
I don't know. So it must be very difficult in India as well. I don't have any doubt, because people just don't be open up, right? So when somebody says, so we have a habit of a lot of success stories. We don't have a habit of failure stories. It doesn't come in front, and people don't even talk, right? So a lot of people give a lot of advice, and then they might be struggling themselves with the financial problem, if they don't talk. So I be very straightforward and open that I was struggling here. I made wrong decision here. I was bankrupt at that time. Then I was climbing, and then I was with no money. Now I'm a debt free. Now I have this much equity. So I be very open about it. So my thought process becomes very straightforward. What is happening in entrepreneurship world, especially in our country, there is so much of pressure to be at a good stage, right? And I always tell people that you need to accept that you don't have a money even to eat one plate of pani puri. The first, you need to accept it. You cannot patronize it, or you cannot make it a glamorous thing that, no, I got an award. So I've seen a lot of ventures who are invited to be the speaker. They be the speaker in an event, but they have to ask 1,000 rupees from anybody just to travel and give the talk. And they don't, and they don't talk about it. They give a beautification picture of it. So I guess we need to be more realistic, more open in sharing. Let people judge you or let people be judgmental about it. That's absolutely fine. So I have shared people in my tough times as well. I've shared people in my good time as well. So if the more we start talking about our problems, then I guess that's where ecosystem works, right? See, that's where the local ecosystem, the local community add a lot of value. So if you are active in the community, people anyway knows the similar kind of problem. So if you just talk to them, you'll resolve it much faster than fighting it alone. I've seen people fighting it alone. Like literally, I've seen people fighting it alone for even 10 months and 1.5 years, which could have been solved in 3 hours. But they just don't have an idea about, or they are not comfortable, or they might not know those kind of people with whom they can deal. So just talk to other entrepreneurs who've been into that stage. If you're not comfortable going in public, at least talk to 1, 2, 3, or talk to entrepreneurs who don't know you. Right? You're not losing anything. But start discussing your entrepreneurship problem. Don't hesitate talking about your problems, whether it's a financial, whether it's a product, whether you don't have clarity, whether you don't know how to do it. So I be very open that boss, अपने को नहीं पता है. I don't know. मुझे बताओ कि क्या होता है. So I always say that I don't care what you're doing. I want to understand what you're doing. It's about me understanding what your company is doing. It's about me understanding what is your product. It's about me understanding whether I'm a right customer or not. It's me understanding whether this is the right customer or not. So when I talk to founders, I be very straightforward about it. And a lot of people put a lot of buttering, a lot of layers than the reality. So I always try to go very straight in the reality. And as an entrepreneur, we should start sharing more realistic picture and surround yourself with those entrepreneurs who have been through it or who are going through it, and with whom you can exchange those thoughts and you can find better solutions. Be active in your community, be active with the open-minded people, talk to people who don't laugh at you, talk to people who don't pull your legs. So बोलते हैं ना कि पैर खींचने वाले लोगों से मत मिलो, हाथ खींचने वाले लोगों से मिलो.
So since you are a visionary, what are your views on mentoring the young children? And with this, I will be inviting my co-founder, community partner, Divya Rajputji. She is also associated with Texas. So I will be just highlighting her.
So do you want me to answer the younger kids thing?
Yeah.
So can you just repeat the question?
So since you are a visionary, say, of course, we are all first generation thing. So they must have started their journey after 12th. So, but how we can nurture the younger generation from 10th to 13th?
Stop being judgmental with the age.
Right.
And stop undervaluing anybody with the age. I'll tell you why. Because I was undervalued a lot at my younger age, I started finding place where people don't undervalue me. And then when I was at that place, I had nothing to say because I don't have a habit to talk. So I always had a notion that people will undervalue me, and I was comfortable with it. Right. So what I started doing with time, because that's what happened with me as well. So a lot of big people, a lot of big giants, big celebrities, big politicians, big businessmen, they listened to me. And I'm still trying to understand why they listened to me when I was in my early 20s or maybe around 20. But because they respected my thoughts, not my age, that's when people like me could have come out of my own lot of mental models. I started accepting my flaws. I started accepting my shadow thought process. I started accepting that I come from a very different constrained thought process, and then it made me more open. So if you're dealing with youngsters, respect them. Don't treat them as kids. Sometimes if I like any youngster doing something good, I start giving respect by calling them sir. So sometimes they become uncomfortable. Sir, I'm just in 10th standard. I said it doesn't matter. I like your thought process. So you have my respect. That's why I'm saying you sir. So I still remember there is one girl who said to me that I want to acquire Microsoft by starting my own company. And then I discussed with her for almost 70-75 minutes because she was there with her father, and father being one of my mentor in my campus. So I was actually sitting with her. So we calculated that she need how much money to acquire Microsoft. And if she start a company and if she makes certain kind of products, what should be the margin and how many products that she need to sell to acquire Microsoft if we keep the amount same. And then she realized that, oh my God, I need this much money to acquire Microsoft, right? So you need to be there to bring that relevance rather than just tell that very good beta, good thinking process. No, I mean, go neck to neck, make them entrepreneurs. So I talk to you an 8-year kid and a 9-year kid, and I talk to them neck to neck. So I don't talk things. I be very straightforward that last month kitna business kiya, kitne logo ko pitch kiya. And otherwise, when they go to different people, a lot of people start just appreciate them that you're doing good, bacha, acha kar rahe ho, and they don't like it. So they want the treatment of neck to neck, and I talk to them neck to neck. So I be very straightforward that what are the numbers, what is the income for this month, what are the projections for next 6 months, and they love doing this kind of discussions. I know almost 40, 50 youngsters who are doing business being in school, and that's what I learned. They are much smarter, they are much faster, they are much skillful, they are more open to change and execute things. They are much primarily they are much better than me. That's what I realized with time. And I've seen some amazing youngsters doing much better than what even I was expecting doing it. So youngsters, treat them neck to neck, don't undervalue them, don't be judgmental about them. They might don't know few things, but they'll pick up very fast than what we are doing it right now. That's what I learned over the period of time. And treat yourself as a kid. It will help you in a much better way. Don't take pressure, enjoy
Yeah, you
doing
will
business.
always keep learning. So I now invite Divya to have
Hey
some
Divya.
post with her.
Hi,
Yeah, Divya.
Jatin. So I have been a silent, I would say, spectator, but I enjoyed listening to what you were talking about. And I mean, more to add, I even went to my husband to say, hey, I'm enjoying what he's talking. So, he was like, acha chalo, good Saturday evening tea time, chat. But thank you so much, Nehal, for organizing this. I think that was so much important. And I love the topic as well, just to add. So that was amazing. And thank you everyone for staying with us. So Nehal, would you like to also give your closing
Yeah.
remarks or,
So, yeah,
yeah.
of course. So thank you very much, Jatin sir. You are not only my mentor, the mentor for everybody, and you have solved everybody's questions. Means the way you are telling, you are a learner for life. That ask the right question, be make it relevant, and tell them that where you are getting wrong. So thank you very much. And in case anybody have a question, please feel free, open to ask it to sir. I think yeah, we
Yeah,
have
but
covered all
I
everything.
like I don't know. It was two-way between you and me. I don't know what audience might have felt.
Nay,
Uh,
they have asked lot of questions, so I was covering majority of their questions. So I think everything is covered, and it will be surely helpful to them for their future journey.
just
Thank
one
you.
simple thing before we close. Investors are looking for good startups. Investors are looking for good founders. If you are one among them, they'll find you. Don't worry about it. It's not a scarcity. It's a huge world. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of opportunities out there. You just need to find good people around you. You need to build your own know-how about it. Be honest. Don't undervalue yourself. Don't be judgmental about yourself. Remove your mental block, focus on the customer, enjoy life, stay in touch with people like this too, and of course others in the section as well. Meet new people, travel to new countries, understand other people, try to learn new business model, how other companies are operating, be curious, and have meaningful fun in life. That's what from
So I
my
think, sir, they all can be in touch with you on LinkedIn. So they have a good mentor with you. And thank you very much, Divya, for joining us and being always a good community partner. Association of she's also associated with Texas and doing very good work for women community.
lovely.
So thank
Good.
you
So
on
we
behalf of Akin. Thank,
thank you, Neil.
thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
Divya.
Thank you. Bye,
Thank you,
sir.
everyone.
Thank you.